So this practice that we're going to carry out today is called a body scan, and it's one of the core practices in mindfulness. And to give you a little bit of a background into this practice, way back at the beginning of this kind of Western secular mindfulness, the founder of this whole practice, John Kabat-Zinn, was working in Massachusetts, and he was developing a secular mindfulness program, and he was working with patients from the medical institutions in Massachusetts who were living with chronic pain and who had tried all different types of medication and physiotherapy and even, you know, sort of psychological therapy, and had not managed to find a way of healing their chronic pain or living with chronic pain. And so they turned up with this new course, mindfulness-based stress reduction, which the body scan is a core practice. And it sounds counterintuitive. If you're suffering from illness or from pain in your body, surely the instinct is to try and get as far away as possible from that. But what this practice taught people to do was how to just sit with the body, to pay attention to different parts of the body, but in a way where you have more control. And then around that, you can cultivate a new relationship, a healthier relationship with your body, with any of the symptoms that you are feeling, and also with the physical manifestations of stress or exhaustion, or all of the other ways that living with an illness can manifest in the body. So, as John Kabat-Zinn says himself, when people came by to see what he was doing with this new course and this new practice, they were stunned, to say that they come in the door and all they see are people lying on the floor with their eyes closed, and they appear to be doing nothing. But actually, all the work is going on inside. It's the inner process of how each person builds an awareness of their body and a way of relating to what they find in their body. That's where the work's taking place. So that is the practice that we are going to um, try out today. And my next kind of guidance would be that when you're doing a new mindfulness practice, one that you've never done before, the whole point is not to achieve anything in particular. The whole point is just to cultivate this mindful awareness, this paying attention on purpose in a very deliberate but also soft and compassionate way. You become like an observer, like a friend who sits beside and observes what is going on, compassionate, but also with a kind of curiosity to just sense into how things are in your body, to understand them better. And as a new practice, people have a lot of questions like, am I doing this right? Or my mind is wandering, or getting very restless. And just be assured this is all perfectly normal. So if you encounter any of those things through this practice, just breathe a little bit of kindness into those and accept that they're all part of the normal process of learning and developing your skills in mindfulness practice. And after the practice is over, we'll have a little chat about what you might have experienced in the practice, and a chance to share a little bit more about how you might use it in your week ahead. So the way this works is I'll start off with something called grounding, where I'll encourage you to just begin to adapt to that more inward looking way of paying attention. Then I'll invite you to pay attention to the movement of breathing. This is a way of helping to settle and calm the attention. If you're not comfortable following the breath, you could also just listen to sounds in the world around you. And it's just a way of helping to focus and settle our attention. Then I will guide you through a body scan. And then finally, if we have time, I'll just give you some time at the end to just rest in mindful awareness before we finish the practice. And overall, I'm aiming for a practice that lasts something around about 40 minutes. Okay, so we'll begin the practice. And first of all, just to assure that you have a posture that supports you in your practice. For body scan, we usually practice lying down, and you can have a cushion behind your head, maybe a cushion under your knees to support your lower back. And as for the hands, they could be rested over your belly, or they could be lying by your sides. And it doesn't matter if your palms are up or down, just tune into what feels most comfortable for you. If you're sitting, which is also possible for this practice, if possible, having your feet in connection with the floor. My little legs don't reach the floor from this chair, so I have a little yoga block under my feet. That way my feet feel secure, and also my posture in the chair. You could, if you're tired, slump back and shut your eyes. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. Or you could, if you're feeling more resourced, you can sit up with a straight spine and your head nicely balanced at the top of your neck, with the chin just slightly tucked in, so the spine energy kind of goes all the way up through the top of the head. And if possible, shoulders soft and relaxed. And the hands could be resting on the arms of your chair or on your thighs or in your lap. So once we've achieved our posture, if you prefer, you could have your eyes closed. And if eyes closed doesn't feel good for you today, then just softly lower and soften your gaze. And mindfulness as a practice is simply defined as paying attention on purpose to our present moment lived experience. And we can begin just exploring what that might be like by inviting our curiosity to noticing all the points of contact between the body and the bed or the chair or the floor. If you're sitting, it could be the feet on the floor. If you're lying down, maybe the heels in contact with the bed. Just being aware of where those feet meet and are received by the surface beneath. And the backs of the legs. Whether you are sitting or lying, the pelvis often holds a lot of the body's weight, supports the whole posture. And then maybe also noticing any points of contact in the back, the shoulders, the neck, or the head. And whether sitting or lying, there's often points of contact between arms and body, or even if you've got your hands clasped, contact between the fingers or the hands, or if your hands are in your lap. So just any points of contact where arms and hands meet other parts of the body or the bed or the chair. So simply noticing these points of contact and being curious, maybe sensations of pressure, awareness of the temperature or texture of the surface beneath you, awareness of places where the body's weight is held more or places where the pressure is a little bit lighter. That's mindful awareness. And through this mindful awareness, we can also now tune into the sense of being secure. And the body is held stable and safe. The surface is here to hold you and support you. And this gives us an opportunity to let go a little bit. Let go of the efforting of daily life and just invite a softening. Allow this practice to hold you and support you. And you can rest. You can breathe and just take a break from everything that is part of your normal day-to-day routine. And we invite that softness. Sometimes it comes and sometimes we remain tense, and that's okay. It's like when a friend comes for a coffee and they're a little bit under the weather, and you just invite them in warmly and you say, "Oh, come in, I'll listen." And you're kind of inviting them to receive that warmth and that support. But sometimes they're just so agitated or life is so stressful that their tension remains. And so with our body, we invite that softness. We invite the body to feel the support of the practice. But it's okay if the tension remains. We just offer kindness and support around that. So I'll give you a minute or so in silence just to explore and sense into all those places where your body is held and supported and received by the surface, the chair, the bed. And through this, you might already be aware of the movement of your breathing that's felt in the body. And this might be felt in the belly, the rise and the fall of the belly. It might be felt in the chest, sense of the expansion, and then the relaxation of all the ribs and the chest, the torso. Maybe sometimes we feel it as the air enters and leaves the mouth and nose. So using our mindful awareness, this deliberate, intentional curiosity to notice any of those sensations of movement around the in-breath and the out-breath. And our level of curiosity as a beginner to mindfulness might just simply being aware of when you're breathing in and when you're breathing out. Just simply noticing how each feels in the body. And again, we're not trying to achieve any special type of breathing here. I know there are types of meditation where we have a particular breathing that we try to achieve, but for mindfulness, it's just noticing what is here already, what's your current present moment lived experience in the breathing. The body does the breathing all by itself, and we're just the observer. Oh, curious. What is the breathing like right now? How does it feel in the body? And we can explore with our curiosity the places in the body today where we feel the movement of breathing the most, whether it's felt most in the belly, the chest, the mouth or nose, or maybe even the shoulders or the back. And as you might already have noticed, the minute we rest in the breathing, the movement of breathing, the minute we let go of all that busy, busy energy, the mind begins to wander. And this is absolutely normal. You drift into thinking, planning, memories, fantasies, questions. And for our mindfulness practice, we notice this. That's part of our mindful awareness, the awareness of that drifting into thinking. And for now, for this practice, when we feel that drifting into thinking, I invite you to just let the thoughts go, not push them away or try to empty your mind, because that's not possible. But just imagine taking a photograph and shifting your focus from background to foreground. And so we shift our focus from thoughts back to the breathing, the body. And we just rest our attention again back into feeling that next in breath, that next out breath. So this is a practice really where we have nothing to do. There's no action required. We're not looking for solutions or answers or even questions. We're just trying to notice what we feel as we breathe, how the body moves, all those different sensations. So a practice that comes beneath words, to a place without words, a place of simply physical body sensations. But as a new practice, or even, I've been doing this for 13 years, and there are days I sit down or lie down for a body scan, and my mind is just on overdrive, and my body is very tense and agitated. And the process is then just simply noticing thinking, coming back to body, oh, thinking again, back to body. We do that kindly and gently. It happens. There's nothing wrong. It's just part of what we find in the practice. So every time we notice that wandering, that restlessness, that drifting away from our focus, we simply go, oh, there, I've noticed wandering again. Today's a very wandering mind day. And we just go, okay, that's okay for today. Let every time I notice that wandering mind, I will gently invite my focus of attention to return into feeling the noticing of physical sensations in the body. And so, with this in mind, let's now practice the body scan. So I'm going to invite you to imagine your attention a bit like a spotlight. And we're going to take that spotlight of attention from the breathing where we've been and imagine that spotlight traveling down through the body, down the legs, down into the feet. And we're going to begin in the toes. So inviting your curiosity, this deliberate focus, paying attention to any sensations that you could notice in your toes in this present moment. There might be a tingling, buzzing. Maybe you feel the contact between the different toes. If you're wearing shoes or socks, you might feel the toes in contact with those. And we're not looking for anything special, just simply an exercise in encouraging our focus of attention towards the toes and then noticing what we find. And we can now expand our focus of attention towards the soles of the feet. So it's a very particular spotlight focused attention. And then this very open-minded curiosity. What sensations will I find in the soles of my feet right now? From the soles of the feet, let's move now to the top of the feet. And the heels. And then the whole feet, all of the feet. Sometimes the sensations can be quite strong, pulsing, tingling, maybe even awareness of temperature, contact with surfaces. And sometimes they can be very subtle and even just momentary. A little breeze on the skin, a tickle, a twitch, something that's very subtle, very delicate. And from here, we're going to now move our focus of attention up through the ankles and into the legs. And with the legs, we can start with a focus on the lower legs, the calves and the shins. Traveling up through the knees to the thighs. And as we just rest our attention, really the word is rest. There's no efforting involved here. We're not doing, it's not a competition. There's no achievement goals. It's just a very relaxed, resting curiosity and noticing. But if within that, can you discern the difference between the big bones of the legs and the more delicate bones of the feet? And perhaps even noticing the difference between the powerful muscles of the thighs and then those very different muscles of the calf that articulate our movement of walking and running. Maybe also sensations on the skin, places where the skin might be open to the air, a breath of air moving over the skin perhaps, or temperature. And maybe places where there might be clothing or even contact with the chair or the bed. We bring our attention now, our curiosity up through the pelvis. And as we linger here, maybe aware of the large bones of the pelvis that really hold a lot of the structure of our body, connecting to legs and back and torso. The powerful muscles of the backside, buttocks. And very possibly sensations of contact as we sit or lie are felt through this pelvic region. We bring our attention now up through the back, the spine, the ribs, the shoulder blades, and also the muscles of the back, the lower back and the mid and upper back. As we rest attention here, noticing any sensations that come into awareness. If you're lying down, maybe contact with the bed. Even if you're sitting, maybe the back is in contact with the cushion or the chair. Maybe sensations of temperature. And from here we can go up now to the shoulders. And from the shoulders down through the arms, the elbows, the forearms, the hands, the fingers. And with a little less specific guidance, just some space for you to notice any physical sensations in those shoulders, arms, or hands. From here now, let's invite that spotlight of attention to rest in the neck and the throat and the jaw. Then moving to include all of the face and the head, the eyes, the mouth, the cheeks, the forehead. And then using the breath to reconnect with the torso, with the chest, the heart, the lungs. Any sensations around breathing, heartbeat, or even sensations in the gut, belly. And in the introduction, I mentioned this new relationship with the body. This mindful awareness is just a noticing, a connection, allowing the body to know that you're listening, that it's being heard. Also, as you may have noticed, when we focus attention in the body, it allows us to let go of that thinking that can go spinning around in our heads all the time. Gives us a little break from that constant worry or planning. But it also allows us to cultivate a new and very compassionate and caring relationship with the body. Sometimes when we do a body scan, the body feels very relaxed and calm and everything's very pleasant. But often our body carries the emotions, the tension, the effort of our day-to-day lives. And the body scan can make us aware of places where that is held as tension or pain or discomfort or even restlessness or agitation. And so if we find anywhere that has this discomfort, the invitation in our practice is to, as best we can, just sit with it like a friend and listen to what it has to say. Ask those places of tension or discomfort, what would you like me to know? Tell me about your tension, your holding, your bracing, your discomfort. And invite a breathing into those places with softness, with kindness, not to try and push them away. Like if a friend came round and said they were suffering from pain, you wouldn't shove them out the door and say, go away, and imagine that that had fixed anything. You would sit down with them and say, okay, I'm ready to listen. And they, through the talking about what they're feeling, perhaps they find a way through that, a way to soften around it. So we sit with those places in our body and we breathe with them and we invite softness and kindness, invite them to feel that kindness being offered. And I'm going to invite you to take the next 6 minutes just in silent practice. I'm not going to guide anymore. Beyond saying that we can sit and breathe into those places in the body that might feel a little bit stressed or tense or sore today. But we can also breathe into the places that feel good and comfortable and strong. Balance out that energy between the two. And as we do so, if we notice any thinking or emotions that are arising around this, then just to observe them Observe the emotions as they move through the body, and observe the thoughts as if watching clouds in the sky. A fluffy cloud, a worry cloud, a planning cloud, and then just let them go. So, a little bit of silent practice. So I'm going to invite us to bring this formal body scan practice to a close, but we're going to do this very gently and very slowly. So we've learned that mindfulness is a way of paying attention on purpose, that it involves a type of noticing that is in the present moment, and also a type of attention which is very compassionate, accepting, supportive, kind, and it allows us to choose our focus of attention. We can let go of thinking and focus on the body. We can move our attention from one part of the body to another. And beyond the body scan, we could use this as a way of choosing to focus on certain aspects of our lived experience through the day, to let go of things that distract us or thoughts or feelings when we want to focus on other things. But also, we've learned that we can choose to focus on those thoughts and those feelings in a very mindful and compassionate way. Give them a bit of attention when we want, when we're ready. So it puts us in the driving seat, really. It makes us more in control of the way we relate to ourselves and our lived experience. The way we end a formal practice like this is usually by wiggling our fingers or our toes, allowing the body to maybe stretch. You might feel you want to yawn or sigh or breathe a little bit more deeply. And when you're ready, just to very gently get up, and in your own time, you can come back to your chair, back to our Zoom screen, and we can share a little bit about our body scan practice, or just talk about anything that you want to really in the next 20 minutes. So I'm going to end the recording there, give you a chance just to come back to your screens when you're ready.